Hi, welcome to If I Did It, the show where we analyze and solve pure kerfuffles from a world not beyond.
Inside.
I'm your host, Lexi Auld, author of The 7 Secret Sources of Inspiration, a snappy guide for creative procrastinators. And I'm joined by John Nash and Eugene Robinson from Aussie.com and author of Fight, everything you ever wanted to know about ass kicking, but afraid you get your ass kicked for asking.
There you go.
Well, here you go, Eugene. You're the UFC.
I am.
Paige Vanzant attributed her weight class change live and public, if you will, to Uriah Hall's near-death weight cut, as well as her own eating disorder. Do you care?
No. Boy, that was easy. You got any more of those?
We can go through a lot of these. We can be out of here in no time. This is like Care Don't Care preview day.
Hey,
Exactly.
First of all, I have to take my hat off to John. He got closer than he's ever been. We split the difference on the two that we cared about. I picked the Polish cat, Blachowicz, who beat Manoa. He picked Manoa, and I picked Verdum, and he picked Volkov. So we split the difference. That's as close as you've got.
That is very close, but I got to remind you, Kid Nate did that episode with you.
Oh.
You can't tell them apart.
Now you have to decide whether that was purposeful on my part or whether that was like an EJJ way of making you feel bad about something good.
Yeah, I think it's could be a little column A, a little column B with you. I'm pretty sure.
All right, but look, it's clear if you watch the V10 of the Show Stomper, I made the case for Dana White quitting, also known as the bald one quitting. He doesn't give a fuck about what's going on. Absolutely, positively doesn't give a fuck about. You could tell. I mean, we're with him where we are with Trump. He would have to shoot somebody in the cage. Somebody would have to shoot somebody else in the cage for him to look up from his monitor where he's watching boxing. And if you think he doesn't have points on the fighters who've gone to WWE, you're fucking crazy. He's got points on Ronda. He's not paying attention to that either. He's back, get back to where he once belonged. I think he's paying attention to boxing because he's got that Trump thing, which is like Vasco da Gama, which is like a lot of these other cats. They said I couldn't do it. Most of us sensibly, when they say you couldn't do it, they go, all right. I mean, I've done that. Told my ex-wife, I think I'm going to go to law school. She goes, why waste your time? And I was like, yeah, you're right. Who am I kidding? That's something else I'm never going to do. So in this instance, I don't think he gives a shit. Eating disorders, fine, fuck it. The reality of it is we're going to see more of this, not less of this, because I don't know if, you guys are close enough to the actual age of turning, but I used to be able to lose weight really easily until I hit 32, and you get more fighters hit 32, you're going to have a lot more of these struggles. Have you seen the pictures of McNuggets walking around? Like, oh, he's bulking up. Nah, man, he's getting old and just walking around, dancing on tables. Not the same as when you're training for a fight, So heavier guys need to lose more weight. We're going to see more of it, and I guarantee you the UFC doesn't give a fuck. How bad could it be? We've already lost $150 million worth of valuation. How bad could it be? Not $150 million worth of bad.
Do you care, UFC, John?
I kind of agree with Eugene that they don't care. I mean, no one really cares. Is it my chair squeaky? Do you guys hear that?
Squeaky as fuck.
Squeaky.
Okay, when I'm done, I'll hit mute. When we get on the next one and grab another chair.
That's what somebody's asking. Does Nash have a horn in his ass, or does his chair need?
I got the Kid Nate beret.
Oh,
yeah.
Hold on.
Okay.
There we go. So I look all Kid Nate with my
That's
friend.
right, there you go.
My Legionnaire beret that won't stay on now. Damn it. I'm bringing the show to a complete halt.
Well, you look like Curtis Sliwa now.
You do.
Guardian Angel cat. So.
Right. Well, that was he cleaned up New York. So after they started, crime plummeted. So.
Oh man,
yeah.
Let me tell you about those. I hated those guys, but anyway.
I had a neighbor that was in the Guardian Angels of Minneapolis, and that guy was like
douchebags.
Get a life, man. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not the Punisher from Marvel Comics. Stop
I mean, they were just another gang as far as I was, fucking skinhead, bald, hanging out, and they were like getting into fights with these guys. It's like, what? Hey, aren't you supposed to be fucking dealing with crime? Not making fun of my haircut. Fuck you.
They had a power trip. Anyway, so the UFC. I don't think they have to care too much. If there's too much, if there starts to be some sort of more comments by fighters and the press pays attention, they start worrying about backlash. Then you bring up, that's why we introduced the 125-pound weight class, and and we're putting in the commissions are putting in these rules to how much you can cut. I mean, there's all this other stuff. But they have no one. I haven't really seen many fans really care about this. That it's there's no.
I got news for you. The fans don't give a fuck about the USADA shit either, really. Except it's just another gotcha game. I mean,
fans only cared because the media started making a story about it because the testosterone stuff.
Yeah, right. Correct.
Well, remember, GSP also said he would not come back unless they had USADA. So he came back, took the belt.
You mean UFC, the guy with the suspiciously puffy nipples?
Oof. It's been suspicious.
Yeah, I'm just knowing what I'm seeing.
Allegedly suspicious nipples. He could be isolated.
No, they were suspicious. There was no alleged about it.
The alleged is what the cause behind it.
Correct.
So speaking of causes, John, you're Amanda Nunes.
Ooh.
Okay.
Why do you change your mind about a blockbuster fight against Cyborg after campaigning to get one?
Because this is my guess. I mean, you never know with fighters because fighters a lot of them are weird and wacky people. But and a lot of them actually have honest pride issues. They want to prove themselves. But usually it boils down, since the sport is a sport of prize fighting, that it comes down to money. And so my assumption would be, because Cyborg took a fight because she couldn't agree to fight Nunes, that somehow the fight's not coming together because terms haven't been met. Because terms haven't been met, Nunes is just going to say, "Oh, I'm moving on," maybe to put pressure on Cyborg to agree to the terms, and moving on to another fight. I'm going on Pennington. So that's Raquel Pennington. So that's my theory, that really it's a form of negotiation, because not only do the two fighters have to negotiate with the UFC to get the terms they want, they got to get the other fighter to agree, because the UFC is probably playing them against each other.
Right, and this is the thing that's terrible, that the bald one, insofar as he ever looks up from his monitor from watching boxing and pays attention to the UFC, he's still doing shit from a 5-year-old playbook, man. Just pay these fucking guys. This, trying to play the ends off against the middle for nickels for the price of a fucking samurai sword. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? However, I'm going to agree with John here that I think that this could be some sort of aftermarket a maneuvering. And I got, if she's giving away 222 hamburgers, I didn't make that up. Cyborg is giving away 222 hamburgers for UFC 222, the homeless people.
Oh.
If that doesn't have Tito written all over it, it's like, you know what? When Mike Tyson pulls up with the truck and gives out turkeys in the hood on Thanksgiving, that's got a little bump to it. When David Banner pulls into fucking Houston and with his tour bus full of bottled water and supplies because the people there are suffering and the government's not doing shit, that's got a little bit of bump to it.
And when Sean Penn flies a boat in,
how about the SLA? With the SLA got free groceries delivered in Oakland.
That was something. Giving away 222 hamburgers to gin up a fucking fight, man. That's why you don't ask Tito for anything.
They come with fries or not?
I don't even know, man. I don't even
Black
know.
Panther bought a community center.
That's right. Several. So anyway, so who knows what kind of maneuvering? I mean, that could be her repost to, okay, you're going to give away 222 hamburgers. I'll one-up you. I don't feel like fighting. And the reality of it is, we've said this before, that I don't think at the heart of it, Brazilians really don't like to fight Brazilians unless there's a feud. Now, maybe I could talk about that thing I intimated. Men over 50, I said there was going to be a beach fight in Rio. I can now announce that it's between Hugo Duarte, if you remember him, who's well over 50 at this point, and Renzo Gracie.
Ooh.
Some internet, Instagram chit-chat got blown out of of course, I'm relying on translators because I don't read or speak Portuguese, and it got blown out of proportion. These guys are setting it up for the beach.
MMARP International, baby.
I've already given my preview. I don't care.
Hey, man, it's a locale that makes a difference. Like, I watched fucking Scott Ferozzo and Tank Abbott in that backyard fight in a second. I was happier to watch that than I was seeing the OJs.
Wait, were you in the backyard with them, like with a beer and a hot dog?
No. The guy who was acting as Tank's manager, he was in contact with me, and he was like, we got off the plane. We told the guy, I'm not going to repeat how much money he wanted. He said, we want it in cash. The guy showed up with a Safeway shopping bag with a towel, pulls a towel bag. The cash is in. He goes, come on, Tank, let's go. And they fought in that backyard. I would have loved to have been there.
Yeah, man. Fighting on the beach.
That's actually, that was the same time when Tank came out with a book, and they were talking about us going on a book tour together. And I was like, man, I barely survived my day with Tank, much less spending 3 weeks on the road with him.
Hey, speaking of survival, it's in the show description. Eugene, do you care to talk about Floyd Mayweather's MMA plans?
Yeah, sure. I really do. And I think
take that, John Nash.
Yeah. Oh, did you get a bet against it?
Well, no, we didn't. We didn't even want to place a bet. No one would accept a bet on your either you care or not.
Which way I was gonna zig or zag. And well, I'll tell you why. Because I've said before on the show Stomper, yeah, okay, you get 130 mil, 135 mil, buy a few nice cars, torture your enemies for a bit by profiling, buy some suits, get a few skanks on the side, whatever these guys do. And then Tuesday rolls around and you're like, the fuck am I going to do? What the fuck am I going to do? Right? So Mayweather, he's got the studio in the house. Doesn't really dig hanging out with hip hop guys anymore because they're all broke. His entourage at this point, without him having a fight to look forward to, is just dudes hanging around the house.
Yep.
He's gonna make a run for what? Does he buy his own groceries? There's a big lacuna in this guy's life. He's not like a De La Hoya who's gonna go into management. He's just there, man. Yeah, he's got kids, but I tell you, those parent-teacher conferences, they're not quite as sexy as they lead you to believe in the movies. He can go to a gym. He can train to keep in shape. He's got a learning curve again, and it doesn't make it. It's like having sex with somebody like you consider yourself a 7 or 8. It's like having sex with a 2 or 3. You're super relaxed. You don't give a shit, and she's happy because you're a 7, right? So you're happy. Everybody's happy. This is the same thing. Nobody gives a fuck if he does well in MMA, And it's not like anybody he fights in MMA. Are they going to beat him with their fist? No. Okay. Are they going to kick him? Well, he's pretty adept at avoiding moving things. They're going to out-grapple him on the ground. Grappling's about control, so he loses and he taps out right away. Fuck it. He will comport himself better than CM Punk did any day of the week. So I think it's legitimate. I would rather see him or Brock Lesnar fight than I want to see CM Punk do just about anything.
God damn. How about you, John? You change your mind?
Well, no. I mean, as a fighter, I really don't give a shit about seeing him fight the UFC. I think it's people getting excited to see him fight. It's like, why would you?
I didn't say excited. I said interested.
Well, but the part I find interesting and what I like to see, I think Mayweather is kind of a repulsive human being based on his past actions. And I don't like the idea of him making a lot of money. But it is
too late.
Yeah, but it is somewhat entertaining. I would like to have a camera on McGregor the whole time this is going down. But here's McGregor trying to get a deal, asking for equity, bring me back. And then you're going to look, and there's Mayweather going to come walking in. The UFC is going to give him $250 million to fight.
Yep.
And he's going to fight a nobody probably. And it'll be sad. Actually, I almost hope his opponent makes some ridiculously low amount of money that people be like, oh my God, they got a newbie in and paid him $25,000 to fight Mayweather. Yep. And so he's walking over, he's going to fight a nobody you can't fight for $250 million, make a fortune. And I just want to watch during the whole fight, just watch McGregor just get frustrated. Like, I can't get my deal. I'm the guy saving the UFC, making them. And now they're giving everything to this guy. That'll be entertaining. The other thing I find interesting, I liked, is Mayweather made a comment or something like, my grappling, my wrestling's at a 7. My kicking's only at a 4, right? And then he goes, but my striking's at 100. And I go, well, that's, on a scale of 1 to 100, if that's what you're doing it at, that's fairly honest, actually. I was surprised by that. That's the only reason I'm interested is just to see, I guess, to see someone like how McGregor's just going to get, just how upset McGregor's going to get. And for that, there might be an entertainment.
No, and if you don't think that's a motivating factor for why Mayweather's doing it, I think you'd be very wrong. You know, I mean, Cat is a fighter. He likes to fight. He's a likes to fight guy. I mean, you know, his friendship with 50 Cent went in the toilet because where's that going to go? It's going to be a wolf. It's like the two dogs barking at each other through an open fence. Unless somebody's going to kill somebody else, it's just guys yapping. But at this point, he can march into the octagon. Create a sense. I mean, this was like McGregor's meat and potatoes. I want an ownership stake because I built that company. It look at their numbers since I left. Look, and then this guy just waltzes in and fights CM Punk or somebody like that, and just, you know.
And he gets a split that no fighter he gets a split the whole roster combined has never gotten from the UFC.
And you know, and the reality of it is, you look at it and it's like, you excited. I don't want to say excited, but I'm interested because it's
curious.
There's a precedent.
Spectacle.
James Toney.
Yep.
Art Jimerson. Sorry, I have to do that periodically. Go back to UFC 1. Art Jimerson, call out for Art Jimerson, fought with one boxing glove and lost. So there's a precedent.
Ray Mercer.
Ray Mercer, correct. So, yeah.
So, John, you're Dana White.
Oh.
John Johnson blames your grief-giving ways for the horrid fan treatment of fighters. What's your response?
Oh, I'm on Dana. I get who the F is this guy, I guess, or this guy does, you know, like
did you say John Johnson?
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's Cajun Johnson you're talking about, right?
Casey and JoJo.
Yeah,
I love Jodeci.
Yeah, okay, just making sure we're on the same subject matter here.
Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Yeah, not bad. I'll listen to him occasionally. But
Kevin Johnson loved his basketball game.
Yeah, I did not like his as mayor. He has not been the same. Yeah. I don't know if that's his good job, but I know if I'm Dana White, I ignore it. You don't want why bring more attention to it? Yeah. Let him, you know. I guess. Yeah, I would ignore it because the problem with Cajun is Cajun's the also guy pushing for unionization, all that stuff. So you want to ignore him. Normally, though, when fighters yell at the fans, you'd probably come down hard on them. I mean, it's fans have a right to. I like that he ripped in the fans because I always found that entertaining. That a fighter would literally right there in front of the fans make fun of them, or not make fun of them, but tell them off. That's entertaining. But since the Roman Coliseum, since the original grappler versus striker matches with the Rotarius versus the Secutor, I think that's what it was. Eugene might know, but that was you were allowed to. The plebeians were allowed to boo, and that we've continued that tradition till today. You pay, you can boo.
That's right.
Or like right before I got kicked out of the Killing Joke show, the band had opened up. I could stand at the foot of the stage and go, "You suck." There's no reason why I can't commentate. Why not? And then of course get into a fist fight with the bouncers and get thrown out and don't ever see Killing Joke play. But the point is I could exercise my free speech. And as I was being hustled toward the marble staircase by 3 bouncers, I was like, it's a free country. Where are my rights?
People paid to go see Gigi Allen just to boo.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So what about paying to see the Legion of Doom, John?
Oh, yes. Well, I had the hard week to choose from the Legion of Doom because no one was that evil this week.
I'm okay.
And Legion of Doom, I mean, there's Katarov, but he's evil every damn week, and he's already in there. He's the leader. We know that. Every time a Zane creams it on article comes out, I go, oh, who it is? Oh, it's Katarov. Okay, he's the member. So Kareem's out there. You got to do better scouting for us, Kareem. Get more members. But I do have I actually have 2 Legion of Doom members this week. I'm going to introduce to the Legion of Doom. They're going to be new members of the Legion of Doom. The first one's Vyacheslav Datsik. I'm sure everybody knows that guy. Remember him? The crazy guy that knocked out one of his first fights. He beat Arlovsky. And then, well, maybe this will inspire Eugene. He was diagnosed as mentally ill, was put in an institution, got out, was sentenced to prison in Finland or Sweden, escaped, came back to Russia, became a neo-Nazi, attacked a whorehouse, a brothel, I should say, forced everybody in there to march naked to the police station. Now he's been sentenced to a 3.5-year term because of that. So in other words, he's a mentally insane neo-Nazi that's out trying to do vigilante justice on sex workers. So he gets to be a member. He's like, and he's not quite evil yet, but he's like Crusher Creel, the Absorbing Man from Marvel Comics, before Loki gave him the potion.
Oh,
he's got all the ingredients to be a member. We just got to give him that little extra, and he'll be there.
Yeah.
And the other member is very similar. He's got the makings of a perfectly supervillain, but he hasn't quite crossed over yet. But he has the origin coming. As a guy named James Schulte, I think it is. Underdog is his fighting name. I don't know if you heard about this guy. He's an MMA fighter, kind of a terrible MMA fighter, it seems. But he also works as a pickup artist, a travel pickup artist.
Oh, my God.
And he travels around picking up Asian women. And then he surreptitiously, or I guess maybe not surreptitiously, but he records them having sex. And then without their permission, he posts it on like porn sites and charges people to watch it.
Oh.
No, this is like a revenge porn statue. How is this guy not getting busted?
I don't know. I guess because they're foreigners. They can't charge him because he leaves the country. But he combines.
So he's going to Asian countries to do.
But no, he's going to he does it in Hawaii, he does it in Mexico, Indonesia. He travels all the time to do it.
Places that are not America.
Yeah, so you're combining
Hawaii.
You're combining like every kind of douchebag cliche, MMA, pickup artist, and then revenge porn thrown in on the top of it. And then so he's like
from Superman, the guy who recorded Big Barda and Superman.
Yes,
getting it on.
Yeah. I was also thinking he was like the Purple Man before he got the chemical.
Oh,
he's like got the making. If you gave him the chemical that he could actually force people, he would be set. So that's my two new Legion of Doom members. Good
one, man.
Well, hold on 1 second. Let's back up. I'm hung up on this guy here. So does it?
Which guy? Which one?
I'm hurt. I'm confused.
No, the guy with the sex thing. So hold it. If that guy tells his partners. If he tells his partners that he's filming, does that change what he does? Right. In other words,
he tells them beforehand. If he gives them advance notice, this is what I'm going to do.
Well, this is the Hitler with the 3 types of secrets, right? The ones I keep from you, the ones we share, and about future events as yet unknown. So if he says this is the setup, I'm going to make believe like I'm filming you and you don't know it, and then we'll put it up later. I'll kick you a few bucks later if anything comes of it. Does that, in other words, that's the premise. Like, what is it? The Bang Brothers. Like, oh, we're going to pick up hitchhikers and have sex with them in a van. Oh, yeah, right. Okay. So is that the premise, or is that really what's happening? And does it make a difference? Right. I mean,
well, I think the difference is, I guess he's legally protected some way if you ask for permission to record someone, because then you have permission.
Well, you would have to have proof of that. You would have to have like some
usually, when I record interviews, I tell people on the interview, I go, "Can I record you?" And I record that while I'm doing it.
Yeah, right. Correct.
Right after correct. But the question is, does he also tell them, "Oh, it's only for private use"? And that's
And then he could also, to get around the revenge thing, he goes, that would be explicitly done to harm your reputation. He could say, "I'm an artist. And I believe that this is, I'm not doing this to harm. I believe this should be celebrated."
Are you trying to get?
Are you a consigliere to Legion of Doom, Eugene?
No, I'm just.
You're like Henry Gyrick from the,
Exactly. He's more like the Tinker or Dr. Malice, the two guys.
Dr. Faustus. Dr. Faustus.
Well, no, because it's easy. Look, it's easy to call a guy a scumbag for doing something that seems kind of scumbaggy, but. If it walks like a scumbag, it talks like a scumbag. Yes, it's a scumbag, but not always. So this guy, the whole pickup artist thing is fucking creepy to me, right? So I get caught up on that. Like I have a friend who coaches, and the guys go to the Y and they pay him money, and he tells them how to pick up women. To me, that's fucking sad. I would rather he mug, and he's shy about it. He won't tell people really what he does. I would rather him mug people than that. But I'm not going to get confused by the fact that the guy is having sex. Filming your partner without telling them, that's fucking bunk.
Well, I think there's an allegation of rape against him, too. I should throw in there.
Okay. So well, you could just say
he's tricking you, Eugene. Like, later on, Eugene Robinson supports rapists.
You could save me some energy.
What's funny is, I used to run into guys that were into pickup artist stuff all the time in Hollywood, everywhere. And some of them were kind of nice guys. They're just, they're kind of pathetic, and they just had no confidence to meet women. But some of them, like, you guys are, there's something effed up in your head. You're on a predatory mode all the time. That's all you're thinking.
I'm having a hard time seeing that there's something wrong with that, but I don't like that it's a lockstep thing. You know, it's like some guy said to me, Eugene, what's your biggest pickup? What do you say? What's your biggest pickup line? I go, you really want to know? He was like, yeah. I go, hi. He goes, what? That's it? I go, that's it, Jack. I got nothing beyond that. I'm innovating. I'm improvising after that. Hi. How you doing?
And then unfortunately, the guy that you told that to is thinking you're jumping something in their drink, because that's the next step. He's a man.
Yeah. You see, that's why it has all these fucking retrograde elements on the periphery. I guess it's at the core of it, right? Because otherwise, they would be just guys who are good with women. You know, they won't have to go to a club of other dudes to have them pat them on the back or wherever.
Yeah. Well, my problem with it is it's not that you're teaching people to be like confident. The problem is when they're teaching guys, they're not teaching. The focus is that it's a numbers game. Like, how many women did I score with? And all they do is basically lie to people the whole time. This is how I got to trigger. I got to hit this thing. Got to hit her, her trigger moment, or do whatever. Got to bring up her elevation, her sexual elevation. Do this, but then lie and then put on a face.
Sounds so tiring.
Yeah. Did you? I guess you guys didn't. I know you guys didn't see the Show Stomper where
I did. I actually watched it, and that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Nightmare story of the guy. Yeah, man, that was scary.
Yeah, but guys, check out the Show Stomper. It's really interesting in terms of the whole numbers game and actual numbers. Like, what is not a sleep number, kind of like a sleep number.
I'm talking about the guy when he opens the bathroom door and then sees this nightmarish. Gotta watch his show. It's called a teaser. But the reality of this guy now lies the other way. Like, what do you do? Research. That's it. Nothing.
Why did finally see that in law school? He would never. Yep. It was really fascinating. As soon as we got into our first year at Columbia, and he would always, and he was like, "Hey, so what do you do? I'm a student. Where do you go to school? Uptown."
Yep.
From day one. And it was like, what the fuck is this guy's problem? But he totally was like this whole thing of like, he didn't want to tell anybody that he was in law school and was going to Columbia. It was a fascinating.
Because a hunter becomes a hunted.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So speaking about becoming something, what are people becoming in the Lost Battalion, Eugene?
Oh, I mean, it's just that we don't even have to. When it's so obvious that it's sad and it just does. It's no fun. The game gets to be painful to play when it's super obvious. Can we say right now what boy band does that song? Bye bye, bye bye.
Ain't no lie, baby. Bye 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 bye. NSYNC.
So we can line up Mr. Fabricio, the portly 39-year-old guy.
Here I am, rock you with my boomerang.
I mean, the door opens a little bit. This guy's got lots of tricks up his back. Volkov figured out, most jiu-jitsu guys have shitty fucking wrestling. I've blown up on my wrestling. I can stay off the ground with him. I'm all right. And I can pepper him until I do just what I did, which is to knock his ass out. So long, Mr. Verdum. I mean, it was a risk he took at number. It was a risk he took at number 3, but given his advanced age and given the propensity of Brazilian fighters to not get back from the head game, I don't see it likely. And also, speaking of Brazil, I think we're gonna have to right now honestly embrace the fact that Anderson Silva is there, like hardcore there. I don't know if you've been reading his statements of late about how he sees another belt in his future.
Oh, Lord.
I think you do see another belt in your future, but I got to correct you. It's not a belt. It's called a truss. It's a truss that men wear, to support the back and the midsection in case you got a hernia, but there's no belt in the cage for you, my friend. Sorry. I don't know. You're just saying that. Why? Because you're sitting at home and there's nothing to do. Try that. You got to have an active inner life before that shit's going to be fun. And the third one to round out the troika, Jimmy Manoa, bye-bye. Except I think he might know where he is.
Yeah, man. On that positive note, thanks for joining us. Follow us on Twitter, Eugene S. Robinson, Alex the Old, Hey Not the Face, Facebook at MMA Pancholes.
Pancholes!
Give us a thumbs up, Eugene.
Yeah, there's a thumbs up for you.
Leave comments on YouTube, subscribe to MMANation.com on YouTube, MMA Nation on iTunes, Visit Bloody Elbow, buy 7 Secret Source Inspiration, buy Oxbow's Thin Black Dugar, Find Music Sold. And John, what should people do to support you?
Be nice to each other.
Yeah, be nicer. Look out for each other. Don't hurt each other, just that kind of stuff. And also then read all my articles and watch all my videos that are on Bloody Elbow whenever I post stuff, and email Nate Wilcox endlessly how much you love me.
And check out his article on the unions versus the fighting alliances, and there's a really good, interesting analysis of the different options for MMA fighters to unionize or not.
You might take a while to read it.
Yeah. Immediately following the show, check out our new I forget if I'm saying new.
Jesus,
change this copy.
You stuttering.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
All right.
I'm telling you. What did they do to follow this show, Eugene?
Okay, you take it easy. Right below, there's a link. You click on that link, and that will take you to If the Shoes Fit. But of course, because we're old, it takes us some time to walk across the room. So we'll be there in about 3 minutes. If you click on the link, and we'll do for the world outside of MMA what we just did for MMA. Right?
I mean, outside, what we did. Yeah, okay, gotcha. I was getting confused. You threw me off there. But it's in the description.
Jesus Christ. What am I going to start again? Right below the link. Click on it. Listen to John.
In the description. In the YouTube description, you might have to click to open it more because it's at the bottom of the description. So if it's not showing, you got to open it. Then you go to the others page where you can watch the show. If that doesn't work, just Google If the Shoes Fit. Lexi Old, so you don't get the old movie, but still. Then that's the other option. So that's your other option. And give us a couple minutes because I'll probably run to use the restroom in between. That's
right. We'll be back with another installment of If I Did It. We don't know what we're going to talk about yet because a few mistakes have yet to be made.
Okay, we're